So today I want to talk about what the president of the INPS said yesterday in an interview with the Italian newspaper La Stampa. For those who are not Italian and may not know, the INPS is the Italian public body that manages pensions and pension payments to Italian citizens, as well as those who may not be Italian but are registered with the system and want a pension from Italy. Basically, this guy in his interview confirmed what we already knew, which is that Italian young people, or young people who live in Italy, legally work in Italy, and are registered for taxes and contributions, only exist as contributors of Social Security. That is the absolute priority. That is what young people are for. There is no talk in this interview of the social mobility of young people, of the impact and crucial role of young people in the development of a country's culture, in the understanding and implementation of new technologies, in the use and application of new methods of production or deliveries of services. Nothing, none of that. There is just the sheer fact that young people are important because they are contributors to the almighty sacred pensions. Obviously, that is true in a sense. Young people in a society that has some form of social solidarity are important because they are the ones who enter the job market. They are the workforce, or the backbone of the workforce. And so naturally, in a society where the welfare state works properly, and there is some kind of solidarity, that is what young people do. They pay into the pensions, and in that way they show solidarity to the previous generations. It's only a pity that in Italy there is no social solidarity, because if young people on the one hand are required to pay into the pensions, by the way, with percentages on their income which are suffocating. Young people barely have any money to rent a small apartment in Milan, and here we are talking about payment contributions to Social Security. On the other hand, the state certainly doesn't show any solidarity towards young people. I don't see any major initiatives to facilitate younger people in their life, in their jobs, in the development of a business, for example. Even in the purchase of a house, there are some absolutely ridiculous and discriminatory requirements that I already talked about in my one of my prior videos. So it's all well and good to pay into the pension system, but what do young people get in return? Nothing. Nothing. And what there is pitiful and ridiculous. So there is really nothing else in this interview apart from empty words and the usual vacuous and, dare I say, rhetorical way of speaking of many of these guys who are at the head of, Italian public bodies such as the INPS. But I will say it is disheartening that the president of the INPS, so someone who you would think has a bird's eye view on the situation in Italy, especially that concerning young people, is giving such a dry and insincere and hypocritical type of response to the questions that the journalist asked him. I do note that the journalist even asked him if the INPS will collapse, whether or not it will fail. I am looking at the interview right now, and I noticed that the answer given by the president of the INPS is actually the shortest answer in the entire interview. He says very scantily, I think, that the INPS will continue to survive. The INPS is solid, and that's pretty much it. I beg to differ. I do not see the INPS existing for a long time. I am going to call into existence the INPS, doubt its existence in an outlook of, say, 15 to 20 years, or well, I mean, this video might age like milk. Without committing to any kind of deadline, I would still say that the INPS in one way or another is going to change radically, because, guys, we have to be very clear about this. They don't have the money for the pensions, okay? I hope that that is clear. They do not have the money, and we're going towards a situation where the workforce is going to be the minority of the population. They don't have the money. They will not have the money. This country has not been growing, at least not in any significant way, for the past 30 years. The demographic situation is apocalyptic, and they don't have the money. They just don't. And there is no way that the system, whether that includes the INPS or not, can continue to survive for much longer. And that is sad, I know, and it's disheartening, but it's also the reality. And if there is going to be any kind of change, if there's going to be any kind of improvement, then the starting point must be reality. Looking at reality in the face, measuring the facts, speaking frankly about these topics. I repeat once again, we don't have the money for the pensions. We just don't. And young people right now, not in 10 or 15 years, right now are full of it. We can't do it anymore. We just can't. Guys, thank you very much. And please remember to keep it real.